Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good day ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the South African Accounting Academy, a warm welcome to the monthly compliance and legislation update for June 2019. My name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren and I will be your facilitator for the next 2 hours. On the start of the slides, you should all have your slides with you. It's been uploaded to your profiles already. If you have not yet got it, please just go and check your profiles and get your slides downloaded. You'll see you've got the slides in the PowerPoint format, you've got them in PDF format, 1 per page, and then also 3 per page, just to save some paper, and those are the ones with spaces for notes as well. Right, let's start off with a welcome. Remember that the webinar is supplemented by the slideshow presentation. So the slideshow presentation is like a very short summary. Then we've got the monthly webinar material, which is where I go and compile a summary from the source documents. The source documents are numerous, the actual documents. They would be the Act, the actual guides, and so forth, all right? The press releases and all the major documents that I use to compile these monthly compliance and legislation updates. Right, so let's look at the agenda. On the agenda for this month, you remember last month we didn't have anything for tax, so the first thing that catches the eye is at least we've got something for tax this month. But unfortunately, the regulator news still is plentiful, 13 items, and the other laws and regulations this month is also quite substantial, being 8 items. So if we start off with the accounting, we're looking at 2 items there. Under auditing, we've got 3 specific assurance items there. 4 company secretarial consisting of the 3 notices that were issued. And then just the one on the company's tribunal cases, the summaries. 2 items on employment law. There's one that everybody's talking about this month. And then the other one which will have an impact on the majority of employers as well. So I'll always try and choose very topical items there. Then under the other laws and regulations, our main focus there is actually going to be the Carbon Tax Bill or the Carbon Tax Act. And the Carbon Tax Act is also dealt with under our taxation section. So under our tax section, that's where we will be dealing with it. And then we'll also be looking at, very briefly, the revised Property Practitioners Bill 2019. It's a brand new piece of legislation. It's going to be replacing the Estate Agency Affairs Act. It has been amended now in March 2019. I know everybody has done training on it on the 2018 version. There have been some rather substantial changes from the 2018 to the final 2018 version, or they refer to it as the 2019 version. So it's just one is a bill and one is a bill with a B at the back. So that's the revised bill. So we'll be spending our time there. Then then there's a lot of Workmen's Compensation Commissioner items, right? That they issue normally in April every year. So we'll just look at a brief summary of all the COIDA items. Under the tax side of things, really there was the most important one. There is the carbon tax, and then also there's 2 important guides that we can refer to this month. Under regulator news, we really have got a very interesting guide from SAICA that we've seen called the Guide on Retention of Records, which I found very interesting because it's a nice summary. Because I never know, because of all the acts that you've got to keep your records for this, and your financial statements you've got to keep for 15 years, and this you've got to keep for an indefinite period, and nobody knows what indefinite is. So we'll be looking at that guide in a little bit more detail. And then just some FSCA documents. Also, the Legal Practitioners Fidelity Fund have released some nice information on new scams that have come to their attention, where fraudsters are now targeting, well, they've always targeted the attorneys with trust accounts for money laundering sort of activities. But now they're just getting more and more clever. And it's, you've got to actually, I don't know, is it wrong for me to admire them? Because they're very, very clever. Right. But yeah, so we know what they're doing now, so then we can actually plan around it and try to prevent it. So we've got under our regulator news then 2 items for SARS, just in terms of changes on the statement of account, which I thought is a very nice document for you to use for internal training at your offices, and then some changes to the tax season 2019. Right, I'm sure everybody's heard that if you now earn less than 500,000 a year, and that's your only source of income, you don't have to submit a tax return. That's not your only requirement. All right, so please bear in mind that there's going to be a lot more to that, and I'll be taking you through those in detail. And then under the general announcements, we've just got one item. I found a very interesting article on business rescue on a law firm's website of all places, and looking at when there are suretyships. Are your suretyships that you've signed, are they enforceable even after business rescue has kicked in? Because this is it's like a 5.5 million rand lesson that the directors learned, because they were held responsible because of the suretyships that were signed. Right, so let's get started then on the accounting side. First of all, as every month, we've got our IFRS monthly news summary, and this is from the IFRS Foundation's website. So first of all, I don't think there's anything that really jumps out at me this month to say, hey, read me, I'm interesting, listen to me. This is just the normal run-of-the-mill item. So if anything catches your eye, go for it. I'll show you the 4 new, the standards that they are going to be revising, that they're looking at, the annual improvements. That's always interesting to see. So that's the one I would probably spend a little bit of time on, as well as if you deal with IFRS 17, number 7 on your list, with the on insurance contracts. If you deal with anything on that, the podcast is available, right? It includes the report on the discussion at the May meeting, and it includes it's done by technical staff members, right? And it's all about IFRS 17 insurance contracts, so quite nice there. So if I can quickly just refer you to the material. Let me just go and find this in the material. I want to show you what it looks like. There we go. There's my accounting update, and there's my IFRS monthly news summary. There's number 4, right? The IASB proposes annual improvements to the IFRS standards, and the 4 IFRS standards are set out for you here. There are the 4 IFRS standards. The first one is IFRS 1, IFRS 9, illustrative examples accompanying IFRS 16, which is the new one that's effective, as well as IAS 41 on agriculture. And they give you like a brief summary of the amendments. So a lot of the amendments you'll see is for clarity purposes. Either clarity purposes or to really give more examples and get rid of the confusion and the ambiguity. I find that sometimes all of the standards are sometimes very ambiguous, right? Dubbelsinnig. And you don't really know which way to go. So it does help to have these little improvements on the go. Right, so that's our update there. Then I've got for you a new item. It was a frequently asked questions document. It's number 2. I'm just going to stay on the material while I'm here. SAICA have issued an FAQ document on the Zimbabwe functional currency. Right, it looks at all the accounting questions that relate to the consolidated financials, where you have reporting entities in South Africa with interests in Zimbabwean reporting entities. So if there's anybody like Zimbabwean holding companies, subsidiaries, joint ventures, whatnot, associates, any sort of investment there, what is the effect on, what is the actual functional currency of Zim? Right, because it's definitely not the Zim dollar. And it's based on the new monetary policies that the Zim Reserve Bank, the RBZ, have made of late. Okay, so we've got the one from 1 October in there and the one from 20 February this year. Okay, so they deal literally with 6 frequently asked questions. And if you have a look at it, they look at the real-time gross settlement account, okay, the RTGS. So there had to be a separation, and there had to be an official opening of a foreign currency account real-time gross settlement account.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.